I'm C.M. Magana from the Strange and Unusual podcast, a proud member of the Gonna Geek Network, just like the show you're listening to now. The opinions expressed are those of each individual host. Check out all the other podcasts at GonnaGeekNetwork.com and get ready because geekiness begins in 3, 2, 1.
You have been granted clearance by Director Phil Coulson. Stand by for S.H.I.E.L.D. debriefing. All information to be discussed here is classified and may only be discussed among agents granted clearance by the S.H.I.E.L.D. Director.
Now it's time for your scheduled debriefing. I'm Director Stargate Pioneer.
I'm Agent Haley.
And I'm Consultant Michelle.
Welcome to Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D., a Marvel Comic Universe fan show. This is show number 143, discussing the Daredevil Season 2 penultimate episode number 12, The Dark at the End of the Tunnel, and as a bonus this week, the Season 2 finale episode, A Cold Day in Hell's Kitchen. This show is recorded on Wednesday, September 14th, 2016. Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. is a fan-based podcast on the ABC television show Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Marvel's Daredevil Jessica Jones, and Luke Cage on Netflix and the general Marvel comic universe.
Because of Stick's fortune cookie wisdom.
If you would like to talk to us about fortune cookie wisdom, you can visit our website, legendsofshield.com, where you'll find all of our contact information. We have a voicemail line you can call us at 844-THE-BUS-1. That's 844-843-2871. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Tumblr by searching for Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. We're also a proud member of the Gonna Geek Network, and you can find all of the network's video shows at youtube.com/GonnaGeek.
This time on Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D., we're going to be talking about our giveaway for the last week. I promise this time we're going to be talking about Daredevil. We're going to be talking about your weekly Marvel news, your feedback, and highlights from the live chat room on Geeks.live. Ladies, we've got 1 week left. We're giving away this RFID S.H.I.E.L.D. squared wallet. Why is it S.H.I.E.L.D. squared? Because it's got a S.H.I.E.L.D. embossed on the leather, and it's shielding your credit cards from RFIDs. So we call it the S.H.I.E.L.D. squared wallet. And it can be yours if you get us an entry by next week when we record on the 21st of September, 2016. And you do this, right, Haley?
Yeah. So you've got to let us know what ridiculous thing Tony Stark would spend all of his monies on. Because we know it would be extravagant and ridiculous.
It would be, and we've asked people to do this for quite some time. We've gotten some hits back, and one of the people that have gotten back to us to enter into the contest was Andy Migna. That's at Andy Migna on Twitter, and he said, "Oh, just in time, my entry. Tony Stark to spend money on the technology to integrate this into his Iron Man suit so he doesn't need to use the shower." Well, except washing his head in a sink. And you got to take a look at this picture. Michelle, do you see the picture?
No.
Click on the link to see the picture.
Click on the link.
So apparently,
oh my God,
you don't have to leave your couch. You can have your jacuzzi, your bath right there on the couch. And you can watch TV, listen to podcasts, read comics, whatever. You get a bath and a bag.
Yep.
So that's pretty good, Andy. We appreciate that one. And also, we've got a double entry here. And
somebody's trying to steal the prize.
That's right. At Born to Eat Bacon got back to us again. Now, remember, his first entry was that Tony Stark was going to buy the Dark Side of the Moon, and which led to Haley entering into the contest with her Titter app. How's that?
I knew I'd entered. I couldn't remember what it was.
That's right. And he came back this time and he said, Tony Stark would buy the presidential election just to make sure neither of these two become president. Yeah.
I believe he called them F-tards.
I believe it was indeed F-tards. And at Born to Eat Bacon, I think a lot of people echo your sentiments, but I don't think Tony Stark wants to be president. I mean, he's mentioned that before, right? He doesn't want to be president, right?
Right.
Yeah.
He's too busy.
Too busy.
He's making actual difference and actual progress doing his own thing.
Also, that's a lot of time spent on actual work, which I think he is not in.
And he doesn't have Pepper Potts to cover for him anymore.
That's what he's going to do. He's going to buy the presidency for Pepper and give it to her.
Oh, that would be cool. To try to make it up to her, like the breakup. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yep.
Now, in the comics... Yeah, go ahead, Michelle.
Most expensive engagement ring ever.
Now, in the comics, he's still pining after Pepper, but he's kind of let her go. And in the process, though, he needed a new assistant. And do you know who the new assistant is, Haley?
Mm-mm.
It is Mary Jane.
That's cool.
Yeah. Which is kind of weird because Spider-Man's got this whole, Peter Parker's got this whole Parker Industries thing going on right now, and Stark Industries ain't dude so hot, so it's all kind of messed up. But that's the way it is.
That sounds about par for the course.
It is. We have a ton of Daredevil to get through, so let's get into it. We'll start off with the creative team for the episodes. We'll run down the penultimate episode's creative team first, The Dark at the End of the Tunnel. It was directed by Euros Lyn, who has 29 total credits over the past 19 years. And Haley, I think you should be familiar with Euros because there is credits for 5 Torchwood episodes, 12 Doctor Who episodes, an episode of Sherlock, I'm assuming that's the BBC Sherlock, 2 of Broadchurch, so it's all BBC as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
And then 2 episodes of Daredevil. So dude has some sci-fi cred.
A little bit.
And then it was written by Lauren Schmidt Hissrich, who has 8 total writing credits. We've talked about Lauren before. 3 episodes of Daredevil, 20 episodes of The West Wing. So she's got that walk and talk thing down.
Yeah.
4 episodes.
I love The West Wing.
I know, I miss it. 4 episodes of Private Practice, and then she produced, remember, Private Practice, Parenthood, Do No Harm, Power, Daredevil, and she will produce the upcoming series, The Defenders. You looking forward to The Defenders, Michelle?
Yes, I am. Because hopefully it'll tie up some of the loose ends from this season of Daredevil.
Yes, hopefully, and we'll talk about that later. So it was also written by Douglas Petrie, who has 17 total writing credits, including The Defenders, an episode of The Defenders, 7 episodes of Daredevil, 2 of the American Horror Story, which Haley, I believe, is a fan?
Nope.
Oh, I got that mixed up again. It's Lauren, who's a fan of American Horror Story. I also know Kier over on Gallifrey Public Radio, and In Defense Of is a huge American Horror Story fan.
No, I don't do horror.
Yeah.
It's not my thing.
Got it. You're like me, where we don't do the horror thing. 2 episodes of the 4400, back to Douglas, by the way. 17 episodes of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and that I do know you're a fan of.
That I am a fan of. He's one of those guys that was in the writing room. So he's credited with 17, but he probably worked on a lot more than that.
Yes,
that's kind of the way they ran that show.
The 17 writing credits are actual writing credits, and then there's all story by and writing room and story editor.
The way that Buffy worked, from what I understand, is they had their writer's room that everybody worked in, and everybody kind of worked on all the scripts, and then they just kind of gave a credit to everybody for a specific episode.
That sounds like a good deal to me. I still have to get through that. I'm stuck in the 2nd season, and I know I got to do it because it gets great from here on in.
Season 2 gets good at episode, I think, like 15 or something like that. And you'll know what happens, because there's the very worst episode probably of the series, and then one of the best sets of episodes of the series.
I'm I'm near the end of season 2, so I think it got good, and I just have to sit down and watch it.
There's a major event that happened. You'll know if you've gotten to it.
I think I have.
Okay.
Because I'm like on episode 22, and
okay, yeah, then you know.
Yeah. So just waiting for that to happen. Anyway, Douglas Petrie, 17 total writing credits. Also produced The Defenders, Daredevil, American Horror Story, Charlie's Angels, Pushing Daisy, CSI, True Calling, and Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Also, we have another episode because we're doubling up because Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. comes back next week. So the finale episode of season 2 of Daredevil on Netflix, A Cold Day in Hell's Kitchen. It was directed by Peter Hoare, and it's spelled Hoar. So it's not the whore that you might think, I would say. And he has a total of 16 directing credits, including 3 episodes of Daredevil. We've talked about him before. And before, Lauren was the one who had to say the name. Lauren, by the way, is a little bit under the weather tonight, so she is not joining us. And we wish her a speedy recovery so we can have her back next week for the season premiere of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Back to Peter, 3 episodes of The Last Kingdom, 2 episodes of Silk, which I had not seen. I thought that was interesting. 1 episode of Doctor Who, and 2 episodes of MI5. The writing team for this was Douglas Petrie, which we just talked about, and also Marco Ramirez, who has several writing credits, including an episode of The Defenders, 6 total episodes of Daredevil. Obviously, we've talked about Marco before, and there's another reason for that. 1 episode of Fear the Walking Dead, 2 Orange is the New Black, and 3 Sons of Anarchy. And if Lauren was here, she'd say R.I.P. Sons of Anarchy. Marco also produced The Defenders, Daredevil, Fear the Walking Dead, Da Vinci's Demons. So he actually produced Daredevil, thus the 6 writing credits for Daredevil. That is your creative team for this action-packed 2 finale episodes, the penultimate and finale episode of Daredevil Season 2 on Netflix. So, Michelle, I'm going to turn this over to you. You're going to have to come up with something. The first episode, we talk about the meanings of the titles, and the first episode is called The Dark at the End of the Tunnel. So please enlighten us as to what that title actually means as per the penultimate episode.
Well, there is the sort of surface meaning of them being in the tunnels, and it's dark in the tunnels. But I sort of took it as, like, this is the episode where Foggy and Matt just split. And it's just like, to me, it's like the end of their friendship. It's, dark, and you really can't see just how better it could get for any of them, because Stick's taken and there's no more avocados at law. And that's sad.
Sad day.
Yeah, avocados at law. I've got my coffee cup out for the final time until we see Daredevil again. Nelson and Murdoch, attorneys at law, but we all know they meant to say avocados at law there. So, Haley, what do you think about that?
I think there's all the stuff Michelle said, and then I think there's also kind of an ironic interpretation of it, where Karen thought she had this light at the end of the tunnel, which would be Frank's redemption, Frank becoming a better man and coming back from all the dark, terrible things he's done. And then he doesn't. She's walking away from him and she hears the gunshot, and he couldn't come back from it. And he told us this last week or the week before, when he was talking to Matt, once you do the things I've done, that there's no turning back from that. He told us that. And then in this episode, we see it again. And we've been seeing this all season. Karen is projecting herself onto Frank. She's done a terrible thing, and she has to believe that Frank can come back because it means she can come back from what she's done. And then he doesn't, and she just boom, goes down.
That was horrible when the Colonel was shot by the Punisher, 1 shot, 1 kill, and then she knows what happened, and she is just destroyed, completely destroyed. And I wonder what exactly about that equates to what happened to her and her brother as well in the past.
I don't know. See, they haven't given us enough to know for sure with that what's going on, but we do know what happened with what's his face last. Can't remember his name.
Wesley.
Yes. So I think that's what they've been playing off mostly this season with her and her projecting herself onto Frank. But again, we don't know what happened with her brother, so that might be a big part of it as well.
It was an amazing scene, amazing run up to the whole thing. And of course, the Punisher gets his costume. He puts on the suit at the end of the episode as well, because he finds all the guns and stuff in the shed. So,
guns are kind of his thing.
Obviously, and he's got a lot of them now, so that is cool. All right, so status of New York. I mean, we talked about it last time. Everything's been pushed underneath the rug. So as far as New York is concerned, there's nothing really big going on, right, Michelle?
Yeah, they're just like, yo, it's Tuesday. nothing happening. Just gonna go on.
It's just Tuesday in Hell's Kitchen, and we don't have the big gangs around anymore, so we can just go take walks out on the street, right?
Sure. Just ignore all those ninjas crawling up a hospital. Who cares?
Yeah, apparently they did that last episode. That was my big thing last episode. I'm like, come on, the whole city? Really? Nobody called 911 or anything? Jeez. So Michelle talked about it. This is the end of Nelson and Murdoch. But remember, the electric bill is paid through the end of the month. So if you want to get in there and play some Pokemon Go or whatever, you're good to go.
I don't think the electric bill is what draws you there for Pokemon Go.
See, I don't play Pokemon Go, so
I don't either, but I have a basic understanding of how the game works, and I don't think electricity is the big holdup.
So I ran a 5K last weekend with my older daughter, and before we started, she was kind of getting her app on her iPhone ready to go. I think it was Runkeeper or something like that, to track it. And she's like, oh, I got to start it now. I'm like, well, just wait. I mean, we got all this time before we get there. And she's like, oh, no, you don't understand. I got to start that, and then I got to go into my Pokemon Go app, and then start that up so I can actually hatch some things during my run. I'm like, really? You're running the 5K to hatch Pokemon? That's awesome.
Yeah.
Priorities.
Apparently. And it's awesome that she's playing. It's awesome that everybody's playing it and getting out and doing some stuff as well. What's also awesome is Karen is the luckiest woman in the world because she survived multiple encounters with Frank Castle.
It's like she's made of Kevlar or something. She's just... It's like nothing hits.
What's the editor's name? Ellison at the Bulletin. So he's caught on. He doesn't say it, but he's like...
He's not stupid.
It's like, so if we ever actually get called up to testify, I'll just say you're lucky, and we'll just leave it.
Just lucky, I guess. We both know that's a load of shite.
Yeah. But he leaves it like that. So, Michelle, lots of fights. This was an action-packed episode. It was amazing. What's your favorite fight?
Oh, Young Electra. Oh, that opening with her and all the guys, and then she almost kills the one guy, and then later on he comes back, and then she actually kills him. It's like I loved Young Electra. She is 5,000 times more interesting than adult Electra. So it could have just been her, but that by far favorite fight.
That's like
that kid was awesome too.
Yeah, it's like Amy Pond on Doctor Who. The young Amy Pond is actually more famous than Amy Pond is, right?
I think you mean Amelia.
That's right. It's young Amelia Pond with the fish sticks and custard, right?
Yep.
So this continues that trend. It was awesome. She was awesome, and the whole thing about her secret, which doesn't come out until the finale episode.
Right. Well, it's not really her secret, but it's a secret about her. But that also showed us Stick's not the one that turned her into a killer. She was a killer before he got.
Yes. Really, we don't get before the training scene.
Right. We don't know where he found her, but he found her. But he's not the one that taught her to kill the way she does. Because he was telling her to stop, don't kill this guy. And her instinct was still to kill him. So that's something that came from somewhere besides Stick. Now, whether it's, just innately in her because of the whole Black Sky thing, or if it's from her childhood before he found her. That we don't know.
Yeah, I have no idea. I just know that that kid was working it. Although, okay, so because we analyze and take this apart, and because this was my second time looking at it, I obviously knew, because I was wondering if they actually trained a little girl kid to do those moves. And like, whenever there is a flip or a roundhouse kick or something like that in that fight scene, you don't see her face. So it was obviously a stunt woman.
Well, yeah.
But it was still really cool. And then I was out of it. Again, it's like, look, this is just too cool. I'm just going to run with it. And it's still awesome. And Michelle, obviously, it was your favorite. What was another fight that you liked?
Well, the whole Stick and Elektra. That was so... It's always interesting to watch pupil versus teacher fights. You know, I know that's a trope, but it's always interesting to see. You know, can they beat the master? How close can it be? So I like that. I liked how it was close quarters, too.
Yeah, it was in some sort of underground library or something. I wasn't quite sure what that was.
I'm not sure.
I thought it was just his house.
That was Stick's house?
I don't know if it was his house. I think it's his hideout or whatever.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, it took the three of them to fight off the Yakuza to get out of there.
Yeah.
Temporary truce.
More ninjas.
Lots and lots and lots of ninjas, right, Haley?
Right. So there's a thing called the inverse ninja law, which a lot of people know about. But it's, you know, one ninja is incredibly dangerous. And we saw that when they were fighting Nobu as the single ninja. They, you know, it took all of them to stop him. But then, as soon as you've got a bunch of ninjas, they're completely useless. You can cut through them like butter. So the inverse ninja law is, as the number of ninjas increase, their threat level decreases.
Obviously, because there's hordes of them and they don't do anything, right, Michelle?
Yeah, they didn't attend any team building exercises.
They didn't do the trust fall.
And obviously, like a good NFL team, finding out the weakness of the opposing quarterback, all Daredevil had to do was listen to the exhales, and then he could track their movements all over the place.
Could somebody please explain to me? Like, I know Daredevil has heightened hearing, okay? But, like, where's Stick in relations, like, how far away? Because then in the next episode, I know I'm jumping ahead, he can hear the bus somewhere in New York, and it's like, so he's like Superman, or is this just, I have to, or are they playing fast and loose with Daredevil's ability, and I just gotta roll with it?
They probably are playing fast and loose with it, but the idea is that he does have super heightened senses, which he usually is training himself to ignore. Like, just to get about with his day-to-day life, he's kind of tuning out a lot of the world. And then when he really focuses on it, it's like, I don't know, radar or something. He can go and ping certain things. Like, we saw that when he was sitting on the roof of the hospital, and he was in Foggy's room through all of the others. So in this, he was looking specifically for, I don't know what he was specifically looking for, but he found a bus full of people he rescued in the past.
Yeah, so he was told by Elektra to, you know, just completely tune out everything and then focus on what's important. And that's a good advice for life. Elektra was giving good life advice. Just tune out all the noise and just focus on what's important. And
then kill it. Oh, wait.
Exactly. That's where I was going.
Don't take life advice from Elektra. In general, that's a terrible idea, I think.
But at least the first two steps were okay.
Maybe.
Well, we have to, like, give her some credit. I mean, she did have an unusual couple of days. She learned she's this mythical black sky creature thing.
Which we don't know what that means, but there it is.
Right. The whole Elektra thing with the black sky or Daredevil saying, oh, you could control your own destiny. You don't have to pay attention to any of that. And yet she takes her destiny and takes her out of the equation at the end and allows herself basically to get stabbed and then die. But then, spoilers, she's in the creepy blood-filled sarcophagus to be reborn at the end.
I saw that coming from a mile away.
That was one of the 3 things I remembered about this episode, too.
I'll admit,
Well, these 2 episodes.
I didn't remember it at all, and I think I must have fallen asleep like in the last 5 minutes or something, or like listened to it but had my eyes shut or whatever. And there was no words with that. It was just the scene and the background music or whatever. So I didn't remember that at all. But it was great seeing that she's still alive. She'll be back, and the question is she going to be back as a morphed Black Sky, or is she going to retain any of that stuff that she had with Matt later?
We don't know.
Who knows? So like, I don't understand the whole Black Sky thing. Does that mean I missed something, or I'm having a funny feeling it wasn't developed very well?
They've mentioned it a couple times. They haven't really explained what it is. But I think they mentioned it last season. They brought in a kid and they said he was a possible Black Sky or something like that. And they thought, oh, it must be drugs, but it wasn't a kid.
I think Stick goes into it a little bit in his explanation, just saying it's like a horrible weapon or something like that.
When he told Matt about his history, when he's talking about the chase and all those capital V things he was describing, the Black Sky was one of them.
Yeah.
So it's a mystical bad thing.
Yes.
Basically.
It's an ancient MacGuffin.
Okay. That's what I thought, but I thought maybe I was missing something. But I'm not. Okay, thank you.
No, they haven't explained.
And Matt doesn't believe in it because it doesn't fit into his Catholicism.
I mean, if somebody tells you that they're, 1,000 years old and there's this ancient dangerous weapon, are you going to believe them?
Yes,
but
every time.
Sure. It is strange.
Technically what?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know about what it is about with Matt and religion. It's like he was on a religious thing at the beginning of the season, and then he just sort of like dropped it. So I think he said it was because he just couldn't see it or something, or science. That's why he didn't I don't know.
Well, first of all, he's a lawyer, so he's constantly trying to get to the truth, and he's questioning things and whatever. So you've got that, although he still has his Catholicism beliefs. And we've been tracking the religious references throughout this series. Of course, we haven't seen the priest in a long time, but he did cross himself as he was trying to make the deal with the Punisher of this one time. Let's go ahead and kill. And the Punisher came back and said, look, it's not one time. You cross that line, and you're going to cross that line. So I think that was the last. After that, don't really see anything of it. Oh, by the way, no idea what the big hole is in the building either. We haven't gone through that. I know we alluded to it before. I think when you were on the podcast, Michelle, but you noticed there is no other reference to the big hole in the building.
Yeah. Is that where they got the Voodoo Ninja magic box from? That's what I thought.
Oh, the sarcophagus?
Gosh. That's why I thought they dug the hole to get the Ninja Voodoo magic box. That's what I'm calling it.
But it's a really big hole. I think that is what they did. They dug that hole for that, but it was actually buried in China, and they went all the way through the earth to get to it.
Yeah.
I know it is a really big hole.
And they had to prepare the big hole to go down into the Earth's core to save the Earth using the magical Magna train machine from the movie The Core.
Which was made of unobtainium.
It goes around. I mean, it's in Avatar. It's in The Core. It's all over the place. I mean, you look in comics and they've got crazy aluminiums and
vibranium.
Yeah, there you go. Lots of great stuff. Okay, so Noboo, lots of fights with Noboo. I think this is like the 4th, 5th, and 6th between these two episodes, fights between Daredevil and Nobu. And I got to say, none of them are as good as the first one. Even the death scene of Nobu, well, alleged death, going over the side of the building.
Yeah, those were disappointing. I was expecting a little bit something more epic with Nobu and everything, but it just kind of...
Yeah. Last time we died, he was set on fire.
And then this time, yeah, he goes over the thing and then what Stick does to him. So, yeah. Not as good as last season.
Stay down when Stick did that.
I wonder if Nobu's going to die every season. He's the Daniel Jackson of the show.
I was going to say. It's not a season. It's not Daredevil without Nobu dying.
No, they killed Nobu.
Was he?
Oh my God, they killed Nobu.
Was he around Elektra? Was he one of the ones around Elektra at the end?
I don't know. He's the one that stabbed Elektra.
Right. So Stick killed him.
Yeah, he stabbed her, and then he walks away, and he's mad because he didn't want her to die. And when he walks through the guys, he's like, "Finish him, finish him," and then he walks off. So he was not there.
And then Stick decapitates him.
Right, yep. But I was wondering if he came back to life and was around Elektra at the very end when she was brought back to life.
I did not see
Did he? I don't remember if that was him or not. I just watched it, but I was in a hurry. Was he the one that touched the coffin?
See, that's what I'm wondering. I don't remember. I'm going to have to go back and watch. Listener, if you are made it this far into the podcast, congratulations. But second of all,
here's your no prize.
Yes. Go ahead and tell us if Nobu was actually in that final scene or not. We would really love to know. All right, ladies, what else? There's a bunch of stuff. We get to see Jerry Hogarth, right?
Yeah. Foggy gets a fancy new job. They're going to put his name on the building.
That was actually one of the surprises for me. Because again, I watched these one at a time. So the first, I was like, oh my goodness, it's Kingpin again. And I thought that whole arc was really cool because I'm like, I did not expect him. I didn't know. And then all of a sudden, there was this hint of Foggy getting a new job. And I'm like going, no, it couldn't be. And there it is. And I heard the voice and I'm like, oh my God, like in my notes, I'm like, oh my God, Jerry. Oh no. Like, I don't know.
Mine say Trinity, but.
Yeah. I don't know if I should be happy that he can pay his bills or like afraid that he's going to go over to the dark side. Like, I don't know.
I'm happy for Josie's bar because they finally get to settle up on that like $20,000-$30,000 bar tab.
Okay, so that's great. She's getting the money, but don't you get the sense that they're not going back to Josie's ever again?
Yeah, I do. I think that's done with.
Sad day.
That made me cry.
Yeah, and then they pan out and they show the Josie sign, which flickered a little bit, right? And then that's it. But that's it as far as I know. Maybe they'll go back, 2, 3,
maybe
4 seasons
next season will end when they get the gang back together. That'll be how it ends, is them going back to Josie's. And she'll be like, oh, these freeloaders again.
Good to have you around or something like that, because they'll help her out with some legal issue arising from some devastating event that occurred in Avengers Infinity War or The Defenders.
Yep.
Well, there is a hint of him working with vigilantes or... Oh, I forgot what she called them, like people with special circumstances or something. So I guess it's a good hint that he's coming back in like maybe Defenders, Jessica Jones. That'd be great to see.
Or they might be in Luke Cage.
Luke Cage, September 30th, 2016. Yeah, it's going to be awesome. We are a mere 16 days away from the release of that. It will be an action-packed weekend. And once again, we will talk about our general thoughts about Luke Cage in the next week or two. It depends on how long it takes Lauren, Haley, and I to get through it. And then we will, in the off
really,
weeks,
of the three of us, who's going to be the one holding this train up?
Well, last time it wasn't me. It was you. So
no, it wasn't.
Pointing that out. It was Lauren.
I watched it the weekend it came out.
No, I didn't because I was freaking up in C2E2. But no, I finished it relatively quick. Anyway, we will talk about our initial impressions, and then we will catch each episode by episode during the off weeks from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So that is our plan to go through that. Frank Castle, we already talked about them and the great transformation. What we didn't talk about, though, was Elektra putting on the suit. She went to go see Melvin, and she got her armor.
Yeah.
It was a good adaptation of her outfit, but did you notice that she got cut in the one area that there was no armor?
Hashtag no arrow, no sleeves.
It's like, good job, Melvin, but not quite.
He'll have it fixed in version 2 of the suit.
Oh, that's just one death too soon. Too late, I mean.
Yeah. Love that Billy Club, though.
Billy Club!
So, I can't remember. Was the magnetic part of the Billy Club before Mockingbird's magnetic batons? Or which one?
Well, it was first? In like 1965, so probably.
I meant in the shows this spring. Who got the magnetic ones first?
That I don't remember.
So, listener, once again, if you remember which one came first, please let us know.
So, Daredevil came out in March, right?
Yeah. March.
I don't remember when she got hers, though.
Yeah, no.
But they're not the same. Melvin's is a lot better. It's got a whole bunch of other uses.
Yeah, so he can fly. So, Daredevil can fly around New York and catch up with his buddy Spider-Man.
That's true.
And, well, he was doing the skyscraper, flinging thing, Tarzan thing, whatever you want to call it.
I was thinking Batman.
Well, that too.
Crossing the stream, sorry.
Well, Batman is an iconic figure. I bet you they have Batman movies in the Marvel Universe, and they're better than what Zack Snyder gives us.
I bet.
Ladies, you're leaving me hanging. Come on, help me out here. All right.
Sorry.
Law enforcement, poor Brett gets the crap beat out of him. And I thought that was cool that he took it like a man, so to speak, and was like, yeah, whatever. But at the same time, it's like, dang, he's getting roughed up. And again, he's not entirely convinced that people like Daredevil are good for society.
Yeah, but I think at this point he's accepted them as a necessary evil of the world they live in.
Yeah, they're part of Hell's Kitchen, whether he likes it or not. And it's, again, sorry to go back to Batman, but a little sort of James Gordon, rooftop scene with Batman, that whole, when they were in the alley on the fire escape and such. Yeah, he's got to figure out, well, this one seems to be the good guy, so I better, help him out a little bit.
Just tell me what happened, detective. Come on, just out with it. Tell me what happened. And I think
the people in the bus, one of the things I forgot about this episode.
Right. Oh, and I was watching Haley's reaction as the, what's his name?
The incident with the foot?
It was great. And I don't think it went all the way through because I think Daredevil came in at that point.
I don't know because my head turned away.
Yeah.
No, it just started. It didn't reach the bone because I can actually look at.
Yeah, great.
It just started.
I
have to admit, Karen this season, I remember at the beginning of, when I podcasted with you guys earlier, how you guys told me to keep an eye out for Karen. And just to see her grow, not only as a great investigator and a reporter, but, she's got her focus on, and she's like, let's get out of here. And she tells the guy to turn on his, which is a good, turn on the house arrest thing, which is a good idea after seeing the guy shot by red-haired lady.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Have we ever
in
seen her
the
before?
group of ninjas.
yeah, who is she? Where did she come from?
One of these things is not like the others.
I had no idea. Did we see her before and I completely forgot?
I don't remember seeing her.
I don't either.
So who is she? And does anybody have any comic background? It's too bad Lauren's not here, but
I don't know that they even gave us enough about her that you could figure out who she is in the comics. Because they didn't give her a name. All we know is she's a redhead and she's working with the hand.
yeah.
Okay, so there was the thing with the foot, which was horrible. But at least there weren't subtitles on the screen you had to read while they were doing it, like the scene with Stick and the bamboo shoots.
Oh.
That was terrible, because I couldn't look away because there were subtitles I needed to read.
Yeah, and
That was evil, Netflix.
he had like 5 or so in
Ugh.
each finger. And the good thing about that is he actually kept one to use as a weapon later. So that's like the one good thing. But
Oh, and it's
aside from that,
just made me.
Stick is going, he's getting tortured and Elektra's having to actually carry him out and stuff like that. But yet at the very end, he very calmly walks up to Naboo and takes care of him. So, I mean, like, dude, you have like fantastic healing powers or something? I don't know.
He just needed to catch his breath.
You were saying, Michelle.
Well, no, speaking of Mockingbird and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., the whole fingernail torture thing, didn't that happen to her too?
Yes. Ew.
So, listener, which one came first? The torture of Mockingbird or the torture of Stick?
Mockingbird's torture was last season, wasn't it?
Yes, it was at the end of season 2. And
That's what I thought.
that was the whole thing that made Mockingbird's partner, what's his name?
Lance Hunter.
It made Lance Hunter want to go after the
Ward.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know what to call him because, like transformed. But
Yeah, and then she killed his girlfriend, which is what made him decide to be all the way evil this season.
That's right. So that happened before this, but still, it was.
Yeah.
Oh, it's apparently a big. Yeah, I'm sorry. It's just torture. I'm just thinking about that. It would hurt. I know Lauren's like cringing right now too.
I don't think she's bothered by it as much as some of us are.
No, I think she was yelling about it last time when we were talking about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. It's like,
No. She's the one that watches TV, like watches surgical programs while eating dinner.
That's right, which I couldn't do.
It might have been me. I might have been the one that was freaked out.
It was gross. So let's get on to something happier, something a little bit more mind-bending. So we've been talking about this all season, and Michelle alluded to Karen and her progression throughout the entire season, actually 2 seasons right now. Still don't know entirely about her background, still don't know what exactly happened with her brother or anything. However, at the end, Matt decides to ask her into the office for a midnight talk or something like that, evening talk, and he brings a brown paper bag with him. And in the brown paper bag, Michelle, is
His helmet.
Aww. And
I'm Daredevil.
I'm Batman.
and Haley, Karen's response was?
Did we see her response? I don't think we did.
That was my
That's
point.
how it ended.
She was
okay.
like, and that was about it. That's all we got. Karen.
Which I also forgot that happened in this episode. I had completely forgotten that he told her.
Because we were harping on the secrets really bad earlier on in the season. Totally forgot that at the very end he revealed himself to her. So that was important of note. So Michelle, what else have we not covered that we need to cover on this?
How about how we feel about the fact that he did this now? Because I'm like, one, if he did it at the beginning of the season, it would have saved a lot of trouble. 2, does he do it because he lost his other girlfriend? And so he's like, let me tell this one. Because I told Claire, she dumped me. I told Elektra she's dead. So let me tell Karen because
Third
why?
time's a charm.
I want her back.
He told Foggy he dumped him.
That's right. Well, in the comics recently, what happened was, and I then don't explain how it happened, and I didn't read. I just started with the all new, all different universe, and Daredevil apparently previously had told everybody that he was Daredevil, but then used some sort of magic or something, and then totally everybody forgot he was Daredevil except for Foggy. So they're back to that now in the comics, where Foggy's the only one that knows that Matt Murdock is also Daredevil. But in this case, you're absolutely right. Everybody he tells dies. Well, Stick's still alive, though.
They don't all die. They just all leave him in some way.
Ah, that's right. Claire's still alive.
Foggy's still alive. They just dumped him.
Right.
There you go. So do you think Matt's going to continue to pay for the office, or do you think he's going to practice law out of his apartment?
Well, he said to Elektra in that nice "let's run a race together" speech that he is Daredevil, and that is all that he feels that he is, and that is truly him, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, he was deluding himself.
Definitely.
They're gonna run away together. That brought me back to his conversation with Fisk earlier. Like, you can never leave this city, because Matt and the Kingpin are the same. They're both in New York. They can say that they're gonna run away and have a life somewhere else all they want, but we know it's not true.
No, not going to happen. So, any final thoughts on the entire series, Michelle?
I'm not going to make any friends right now, but I know there's something called the sophomore slump, and I think this season suffered from it. A lot of the things that happened, like the Punisher got a great storyline, but then Elektra's was underdeveloped. Karen got a great arc, but then Foggy was just left off to the wind to go get a new job. And it kind of felt like, the Marvel Cinematic Universe is guilty of creating movies that feel like a setup to another movie. And the end of this season, to me, felt like it was setting up either like the Defenders or the Punisher series or Daredevil season 3, because there was just a lot of things that just weren't resolved. And
I know for this season, I liked a lot of it a lot, but I felt like, especially at the end, it felt like they almost forgot how many episodes they had or something. And they were like, oh wait, it's only 13? I thought it was 20. Crap. We gotta wrap up all this back half stuff in like 2 episodes.
Yeah, and they obviously left, as Michelle said, they left a lot that hasn't been wrapped up yet. And they knew that they were getting Daredevil appearances in the Defenders, and they might have guessed that they were going to get a 3rd season, which they have since. So we're just waiting for that to go into production after the Defenders. And I think it was a lot more deeper character setup and character expose. The whole thing with Punisher, that was a big thing, bringing the Punisher into the Marvel Universe, his origins, but how the rest of the Daredevil cast dealt with him. We had the whole thing with Claire basically putting a cap on it, at least for now, in Daredevil. Going to see Claire again in some of the other properties, but I'm not sure if we'll see her in Daredevil. And, shutting some doors, opening some others. You get the Jerry Hogarth law firm and Foggy in that too. So change of venues. And in the comics, Matt Murdock is now working for the DA. So I'm wondering if they're going to transition the Netflix series the same way as well. So yeah, there's a lot of possibilities. It was entertaining. This season 2 was entertaining. I enjoyed it, enjoyed the fights, although I think I was more impressed with the fights overall in the first season, but the second season, it definitely more gruesome and more impactful. Wilson Fisk, we don't see what happened with Wilson Fisk. I mean, what is going to happen with him next? He's still in prison, the Kingpin, and I imagine that's going to be a big story to bring forward in the next season, and we'll just see how that rolls. So if you have some final thoughts about the Daredevil season 1, season 2, if you have thoughts on where the characters are going to be in the future in either Daredevil or any of the other Netflix series, or do you think some of these characters will actually transition into the MCU or over to ABC for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., go ahead and hit us up, and we would love to hear your theories. So, ladies, any last thoughts, Michelle?
No, I think I've said my piece. Some of it, like you said, entertaining. I really enjoyed Karen's arc and Punisher, but I just kind of felt, there was a little underwhelming.
Okay. Haley, you get the last word.
What she said, I think. That's what I'm going to go with. I think that's pretty spot on. I really enjoyed parts of the season a lot, but I think she's right. There were characters that kind of got moved to the back burner to make way for new characters, and even the new characters weren't fully developed.
Fair enough. All right. I'm sure we'll get some thoughts from Lauren next week, so go ahead and tune in for that. Lauren should be with us again next week. It's the week before Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and we're going to run down some news really quickly for this week before we sign out for the week. And the first one is Ghost Rider is actually speaking in the new Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 4 teaser.
I haven't had a chance to watch it yet, though.
Oh, it's a nice little teaser. Daisy tells Ghost Rider, you don't get to decide who deserves to die. And he responds, I'm not the one who decides. And the trailer, you also see a few glimpses of the show's upcoming season. Daisy looks a little worse for wear, while Agent May kicks some butt. And Coulson and Mac discover a truck trailer filled with blood. So some good stuff coming up.
Looking forward to that. And also, we have a episode 2 synopsis, which is pitting Daisy against Ghost Rider. So if you haven't read that, go ahead and check that out. Both those articles, by the way, can be found at Comic Book
Resource.
It was like comicbook.com. No, that's right. Not right.
Nope. CBR.com.
CBR.com. Let's move on over to Netflix, and Jessica Jones, the series on Netflix, not the character, has been wins a Creative Arts Emmy. So that is awesome. Congratulations. It is an acclaimed series.
For Outstanding Original Main Title Theme Music, which, that was awesome.
And it was. Matter of fact, when I was starting these last 2 episodes, and as the Netflix thing went boom, boom, and then I was expecting the Jessica Jones theme to run. I have no idea why, but the kind of jazzy New York.
You know what? I'm the same way. When I hear the 20th Century Fox, I expect Star Wars music to start right after.
That's right. And now we don't even get 20th Century Fox.
I know. Weird.
Dang you, Lucas. And finally, ladies, you're just going to have to take this because I know you're both big into it, but Stan Lee's life story is going to be adapted as a 70s set action movie.
This is kind of funny because it says Fox's upcoming Stan Lee film won't be a biopic. Lee's role in the movie has been described as akin to Roger Moore's 007, which implies plenty of action, one-liners, and flirting with women. And it's supposed to take place in the 1970s. So I had to include that here because, Stan Lee, you are a treasure to the world.
That's his idea of how his life went. Like when he looks back on it, he was like, yeah, and in the 70s, I was a secret agent. I was like, wait, weren't you just writing more comics for Marvel's? No, secret agent. Hooking up with lots of women. Weren't you married? Shh.
And we even saw her in the last cameo, too, when they were on the porch. Isn't that what Ian Fleming pictured himself as? He pictured himself as James Bond, right? So he wrote these novels to be like that. I believe that is true. Of course, Wing is the big James Bond fan on the Gonna Geek Network. If you want to know any more about James Bond, go hit him up at Nightwing_GG on Twitter. Ladies, any other news stories you got hidden underneath your pillows?
I don't think so.
All right, let's get on to some great feedback. We got a lot of great feedback this past week. Thank you to everybody that has gotten in touch with us. Just to cover some of what has been sent to us. First of all, Richard at Kodiak GWC, who actually tweeted us a lot, he retweeted IO9 and said, "The end is approaching." And that is because IO9 published an article that said the culmination of the Marvel Cinematic Universe for now is underway. So they are officially putting a cap on it now with the Infinity Wars, right?
I don't think that's what they're saying. I think they're saying that this is what everything up to this point has been building towards, is the Infinity War, because they seeded the gems and Thanos and all that stuff throughout the movies up to this point. And then after this, it's going to be something new in the Marvel Universe, not part of whatever the grand plan was up to this point, which I'm actually kind of looking forward to.
Yeah, it's kind of gotten a little long in the tooth. Like Iron Man 3, for instance, was like same old, and people were saying that Avengers 2 was like, and then Civil War. I loved Civil War, but a lot of people had issues with it as well. So yeah, I am looking forward to it. And of course, the whole magical universe is opening up to us with Doctor Strange, so that will be interesting. Even though we've had Scarlet Witch, it's like it's been kind of a sort of kind of mutant thing,
pseudoscience stuff.
Yeah.
I'm hoping what they'll do is maybe not exactly a kind of standalone movies. Like, yes, they're taking place in this larger universe, but, you know, they're not part of one big story. They're just in a shared universe, and this is its own story.
Oh, that would be nice.
Just looking forward to it. And I've been a bigger Marvel fan than I have been a DC fan in terms of the cinematic universes. And I'm just hoping that maintains. Of course, we're all wondering when the bubble is going to burst, but for now, I don't see it. I'm curious as to what Doctor Strange is going to do. And I've been scolded, by the way, November's big, huge movie month. So we'll see what happens. Doctor Strange comes out, 2 weeks before Thanksgiving, though?
I think so.
So it'll be a known quantity that weekend going into Thanksgiving when people have had enough with their families and want to go to the movie theater, right?
Yep.
Okay.
That's how it works.
We'll see how it works. I'm curious to see the box office numbers, see what the drop is from week 1 to week 2, and see if it comes back the third week. Okay, moving back into the feedback at Mr. Paracletes.
I've got this one.
Yeah, go for it.
So he shared a lovely meme with us. And the picture is Robert Downey Jr. Sometimes I wish I was a llama. And then it's the comment thread that follows. It's funny because if Tony Stark became a llama, then almost the exact plot of Emperor's New Groove would ensue. The comment, I'm dying. So am I. Tony as Kuzco, Steve as Pacha, Loki as Yzma, Thor as Kronk. Thor, are you talking to that squirrel? Pull the lever, Thor. Wrong lever.
The Emperor is a New Groove. I think I last saw that when my son was really, really little, so it's been a long time. That would be cool. And Mr. Paracletes also tweeted us, and he said, Sinister, Mr. Sinister, and he's talking about Wolverine 3 is going to feature Mr. Sinister.
And I'm assuming the whole movie will be his elaborate plot to kidnap Jean Grey and Scott Summers. Because that's kind of his thing. He wants to kidnap them and use them to create some sort of master race or something.
He is like the original stalker. It's just, I don't understand his obsession with them. It's like that's his only purpose for existing.
Well, he got the memo. Everyone is supposed to be obsessed with Jean Grey. And he was like, Well, can't I have both?
Well, some guys are lucky enough. Yeah, sure. Go ahead. At Kodiak GWC tweeted us and he said, "Behold the Ghost Rider!" And he was retweeting an io9.gizmodo.com article, which actually referred to Yahoo TV's first look of the first look of Ghost Rider. If you haven't seen this yet, you should. The car, I'm liking the car. I like muscle cars. I like this car, and the flames, the real life flames on it are pretty cool. Though I'm kind of wondering how many tires he's going to have to go through and if he's going to end up driving on the rims.
Magic. Got it.
Okay. Is Ghost Rider supposed to be magic, or is he going to be some sort of inhuman?
I don't know. In the comics, it's kind of like, it is magic-ish stuff to do with like a deal with the devil or something. I don't know. I haven't read a lot of Ghost Rider yet.
Well, yeah, like in the comic books, I know his origin. It's, basically it is like in the magic part of it. But Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., let's face it, has become Inhuman's light. So I was wondering if you knew how they were going to do it on the show, if that's been revealed yet.
Well,
I don't think they've shared that yet.
No, even in the comics, though. Okay, so just away from Ghost Rider, even in the comics, as we know with Marvel Now, that's going to start in November timeframe, that they are pulling the plug on the mutants and they are going full force in with the Inhumans. So I'm not sure why that is, other than maybe a big, FU
to Fox.
Yeah.
But they do say in this article that introducing this character opens up a whole different kind of storytelling for us, which makes me think they're going to start incorporating magic into the TV universe as well. Like, we know they're going that way with the cinematic universe. They're introducing Doctor Strange. This is probably their way of bringing it in on the TV side.
So we'll see, and we'll see soon, because Ghost Rider actually appears early on in the series. So at Kodiak GWC also tweeted us, and he said, apparently Spider-Man will be breakdancing at his homecoming.
I guess it's better than the swing dancing that Tobey Maguire did.
Oh, God. You just had to bring that up, did you?
Well, yeah.
I have a kind of an interesting view of Tobey Maguire, because he either bought the rights to Robotech or was part of the initial attempt to bring Robotech to the live action screen. So I'm like, okay, I could see him as Rick Hunter. That would have been cool.
That there's not necessarily going to be breakdancing in the movie. This is just what what's his name, the kid, Tom Holland did for the motion cap test they were doing.
Oh, that would be so cool if they brought it into the movie. That would be cool. So at Kodiak GWC also tweeted us, and he said, so it begins, and it's a ScreenRant.com article that he retweeted, which is the Punisher TV series Ben Barnes villain. And that Ben Barnes is looking pretty good as a villain. Kodiak GWC also tweeted us, and he said, I hope that they don't disappoint. And he's talking about a ScreenGeek.net article on the rumor that Punisher and Defenders to film late this year. So we were talking about when Daredevil season 3 was going to start filming, and it obviously will be after the Defenders. And that's
the one thing that is upsetting about Netflix. Netflix has gone on record that they're not going to do more than 2 Marvel series a year. This is one of the reasons why they didn't pick up Agent Carter. So okay, now it's Luke Cage. So next year is supposed to be what? Defenders and Jessica Jones?
I thought I remembered reading somewhere that their plan was to introduce a new Marvel series every 6 months or so.
Right, that's 2 a year.
Right, but that's new series, not series total. So season 3 of Daredevil would not be a new series. It would be another season of an existing.
No, the way I read it is that they're doing 2 Marvel shows a year. So we're not going to get Iron Fist until 2018, I think, or something.
No, it's in 2017. Because it comes before Defenders. Next year is Iron Fist and Defenders.
So then it would be Jessica Jones and then Daredevil?
Yeah, so that would be 2018. So the earliest, if you're right, the earliest we would get Punisher would be 2019.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Wow.
somebody's got to
I don't
rethink
think-
that.
I think
I think I might have the right interpretation, which is that they were planning on doing a new series, not a new season, 2 a year.
I hope
Yeah.
so. I hope you're right. I really hope you're right.
Either way, I think the addition of Punisher into the mix, which was not their original plan, I think that threw off whatever plan that they had, and that will either be a third season or an additional.
I wonder if the idea is that Luke Cage and Iron Fist are going to have their own series each to start with, but then be put into a series together going forward.
They were definitely pushing that in the comics, so I could see that happening. Absolutely. All right.
Okay.
At Born to Eat Bacon tweeted us, and he said, Mary Jane Watson from the Todd McFarlane run of Spider-Man, not the schoolgirl. Of course, we were talking about how he had a fixation with Mary Jane Watson and redheads in general, and so he wanted to point out where his favorite lied. So there you go. If you get to his Twitter, it'll be in the show note. The link will be in the show notes. You can see the picture of it. So it's the 80s flash dance sort of outfit, I guess, is the best way to describe it. And a lot of web around her. So whatever. There you go.
Just entirely inappropriate.
Well, it's McFarlane. You know, that 90s crew of McFarlane and Lee and stuff, and what's his name? But yeah,
I'm not into the webbing thing, but apparently some people are. At the 80s Flashdance outfit, though, that'll work for me. So yeah.
Well, of course it does. It's just all the women that he drew looked like that. That's the thing. They all looked like that in the 90s.
They might have sold books back then, too. I don't know.
For a while. Then it went boom.
It did, and there was bankruptcy, and that's why we have all these theater company fights between Marvel and Fox and Sony and so on and so forth. At Starsaber_222 tweeted us, retweeted the latest from Jamie Faye. And if you go to Jamie Faye's status, it is actually a decent picture of Captain Marvel with longer hair, or at least shoulder length hair. And I think traditionally, isn't Captain Marvel, doesn't she have shorter hair than that?
No, that's a new thing, actually.
Okay.
She traditionally has had long hair, and then in recent incarnations has had short hair.
I'm liking this outfit, though. This incarnation of the Captain Marvel outfit. It's pretty cool. It looks pretty functional, too.
Yeah.
So thank you very much for that, Adam. And then finally, at Kodiak GWC tweeted us, and he said, standard bet applies, which I believe is a quarter bet. I'm not sure about that. But anyway, standard bet applies. How many episodes before Chloe Bennett is back with the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., back with S.H.I.E.L.D.? And he says, I say by the third. So if we're going to play by this bet, Haley, which episode do you think she is back in the fold?
I need a quick clarification. Are we talking before she rejoins S.H.I.E.L.D. or before she works with the team? Because I think she might work with the team again before actually rejoining.
Interesting. I would say rejoins S.H.I.E.L.D.
Okay, then I'm going to say that's going to be the mid-season finale. Is her having to come back for the team for something.
Michelle.
So what, Haley, you're putting in that, episode 10 or 11?
10 or 11, somewhere. I don't know where the split's going to happen this season, but yeah.
Oh, so if we're going to go with back with S.H.I.E.L.D., I'm going to put it a little bit before the mid-season and go 8. But I think you're right, Haley. I think it's definitely going to be by the mid-season.
Yeah. And see, I'm thinking around episode 5 or 6, she'll do a mission with the team for some reason and then go back her own way.
I was just going to call episode 5, she'll be back with S.H.I.E.L.D. So we'll see. Well, it'll be entertaining. I don't care. It's just going to be entertaining. Marvel has not failed me yet. So as soon as they do fail me, then you'll be the first to know, because I could not keep my mouth shut about Batman versus Superman. So I probably won't keep my mouth shut on Marvel if they ever do. So
what about if she has a team of her own within S.H.I.E.L.D.?
Like the Secret Warriors?
Yeah.
I think at that point she's working for S.H.I.E.L.D., so we call that back with the team.
Okay. Just wanted clarification.
Because Fury...
I thought you were going to go, what if she starts her own S.H.I.E.L.D. with blackjack and hookers?
Because Fury has all of his own teams doing this, that, and the other thing. So you never know. All right. Now, we have to talk about this. It is a post that was given to us by Michelle on Facebook. So, yes, we do have a Facebook page as well. And she said, "Heads up, Stargate Pioneer." And it was an article linking to IO9 Gizmodo on Civil War II delayed again and won't be finished until after Marvel Now starts. Now, Marvel Now is the new reboot of the Marvel Universe set to take place in November. And there's been a lot of talk about that. We really haven't covered it in depth on Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. because we more cover the TV shows. But there's a big event going on right now, Civil War II. They had the Secret Wars going on last year before All New, All Different started. And unfortunately, it needed more time to complete. So instead of putting issues out in rapid fashion, they just let the issues go well into All New and All Different. And I remember Neil talking about it on Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. Longbox Edition. I think we're going to get the same thing this time around, where it's just this awkward space where the Civil War II hasn't completed yet, but Marvel Now is fully underway. So that is going to take place in November. And Michelle, what do you think about that?
I think it's typical Marvel. It's yet reason number 247 that I'm glad I did not do Civil War 2. Back in the olden days of the 90s, this is why I ended up quitting Marvel, is because of the huge events. You know, at first it started in the summer, and then it was like a couple of months, and then it became 4 months, and then it's like the crossovers would never end. And this is why I'm going back into Marvel a little bit at a time. Like, one of the things I'm reading is Black Panther. Issue number 6 just came out. I highly recommend it. You don't need to worry about all the Avengers coming in or any sort of huge otherworldly things. It's just a nice standalone title.
See, this is why I started at the beginning, because by the time I'm reading issues that are released in 2016, they'll be nicely organized into my reading order in the way that they actually should be read, not the way that they were haphazardly published.
Well, I will say this, that the intertwining that has been done so far with Civil War, there hasn't been any out of order in the dates that they've been published in. So that's been good. What's concerning me more with Civil War II is the mischaracterization of some characters and some very big things that have happened in the universe that are obviously not going to stay. So it's like, okay, let's get to the point where you correct it and then we can move on. And one of the things that I'm reading, and I'm actually catching up on it because I started late, was the Ultimates. And I believe that the Ultimates is going to play a big part, and I'm not there yet, so I can't say for sure, in the creation of Marvel Now, just because of what they're doing with the entire universe and literally the entire universe, everything that ever is, and eternity and all that stuff. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, wait until you read the Ultimates. It's a really good series, and it's setting itself up to reboot the Marvel Universe, and I can see that happening in November, but I don't know for sure. I'm not caught up with the Ultimates yet. I'll be the first to admit it. I'm like 4 or 5 issues behind, so we'll just see how that rolls in November. Anything more about Marvel Comics, Michelle, before we move on?
Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur is really cute.
And of course, Squirrel Girl is out there as well. So, Haley, we have an email. We've actually have 2 emails from Andy, and would you care to take us through them?
Yeah, so I'll just pull a few of the highlights out of this. Let's see. Theory that Stick is not telling them about Elektra, who is a black sky. Edit. Dang, confirmed. He also pointed out that the fingernail scene is awful, he said, is something I just can't endure. I'm right there with you, brother. And 1 shot, 1 kill, and Karen lost again, someone she believed in. Bottom line, final stretch, 10 out of 10, young, acrobatic, kick-ass Ellies.
That's right, and I believe that is his highest ranking of the season.
Yep.
Well, he goes on into episode 13 and gives us his final thoughts.
I got bored. Sweet new costume. This is not the end. Maybe the sarcophagus can resurrect Elektra.
Ooh.
Yes, knew the last scene. They will get back to the grave. Alright, so bottom line. Now this is how to cap off a season. 10 out of 10 Punisher logos. Season bottom line. The beginning under par compared to season 1, but then it reached full throttle. 9 out of 10. Who or what the hell is a Betsy?
Yeah, what is Betsy? Is Betsy an it? Is Betsy a black sky? You don't know. We don't know.
Betsy a bat with barbed wire wrapped around it?
No, that's a Lucille.
Aw.
Yeah, guess who started assembling her Harley Quinn costume for Halloween, by the way?
Is it you?
Because I would look so good like that. No, my older daughter, that's what she is going to be for Halloween. We were discussing Halloween costumes earlier in the week, and so I put the Superman theme on. I'm like, screw it. If we're going to go superhero costumes, we're going to have some background music to it. And everybody appreciated it until I turned it all the way up, and then they're like, "Dad, we get here." Well, I like John Williams, so there you go. All right. Thank you, everybody, for sticking with us through Daredevil. Thank you for all the great feedback. We can't wait to hear what you think about the episode next week. So please don't forget, we have a voicemail line, which is 844-843-2871, or you can get a hold of us at all the other ways. Ladies, it is time to walk this one out. Join us next week as we discuss the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 4 premiere. Can you believe it's been 4 years? Called The Ghost.
They grow up so fast.
I know. And they literally do when you have kids in college and you have to pay college tuition and car insurance and all that stuff. It's fun. And you can't wait till the kids grow up and get real jobs and then move away to Arizona. Go, boo-hoo, we can't see our kids anymore.
Hey, you know what? They might move back in with you. You've got that to look forward to.
Yeah, that happens.
Boomerang generation, woo!
You can always find our live streams at geeks.live. We stream live Wednesday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern. Once again, that's www.geeks.live. Live is just another extension on the internet like .com, .org, .net. So it's geeks.live. We have a website, legendsofshield.com. As I just said, we have a voicemail line, 844-THE-BUS-1. I miss the bus. Michelle, do you miss the bus?
I miss the bus terribly. Bring back the bus.
Hashtag bring back the bus.
Hashtag no bus, no Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah, that would be sad, but I'm all for it. Yep, there you go. 844-843-2871. Facebook page, Twitter page, Tumblr page, YouTube channel. That is at youtube.com/GonnaGeek. And all the great things on our website. We are proud to be part of the GonnaGeek.com network. So next week, we will be talking about The Ghost Season 4 premiere. But don't forget, over on Starling Tribune, which is the Arrow podcast on the GonnaGeek.com network, they will be talking this week, tomorrow night. Michelle will be part of the conversation as a full-time reporter about the finale for Legends of Tomorrow. So go ahead and join that over on geeks.live. I want to say thank you to you. You're listening to this. You are watching this on Facebook Live, on YouTube. I want to thank you for spending time with us. We really appreciate it. And I want to thank you for giving all the great feedback that you do, or just downloading the podcast, because it tells us that we're doing something right and we enjoy that. So thank you. We're heading up in the downloads, and thank you to all of our new listeners that are with us as well. We really appreciate you.
And thank you to everyone who has entered our contest so far. Thanks, Andy and Born to Eat Bacon, for entering again in our competition for the RFID S.H.I.E.L.D. shielded wallet. Remember that you too can enter to win. Let us know what ridiculous thing Tony Stark would spend his money on. And get that to us by next week before we record, which is on Wednesday nights at 9 Eastern?
You're going to have to get it to me by 7 p.m. Eastern, and it is September 21st, 2016.
Yes. Also, something you might consider spending your money on, the Civil War DVD came out today, DVD and Blu-ray. So, run out and get that real quick. Go on, we'll wait.
Play it, and then we'll all watch the commentary together. Michelle, thank you very much for joining us tonight. It was a pleasure having you on tonight and for all of the times that we have had you on talking about Daredevil this summer.
Thank you for having me. I've really enjoyed talking about Daredevil and other Marvel goodness with all of you.
Stay tuned. We might hear from Michelle again in the future. All right. Until next time, I'm Director Stargate Pioneer.
I'm Agent Haley.
And I'm Consultant Michelle.
Bye. See you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening. If you want to leave us feedback, go to gonnageek.com and you'll find all of our contact information and other shows. You can also visit legendsofshield.com where you'll find our complete archive of podcasts. The music heard on this podcast is by Kevin MacLeod and can be found at incompetech.com. The opinions heard on this podcast are those of the individual host and do not represent Legends, Stream, or Gonna Geek. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is the property of the Disney Corporation. No infringement is intended.